Welcome back students, welcome to the class. So in the previous class we have discussed about the VBT theory, in which we have given you that how the sigma bond and pi bonds are formed. And now just to practice a few questions on VBT, here in this case the compound is called 1-but-3-ine. Now in this case we have to calculate how many bonds are sigma and how many are pi. So what I will do, I will single out the sigma bond, okay, as these are sigma bonds. So how many are sigma there? You can easily see that there one, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 sigma bonds are there. Okay. Now next thing is how many are pi are there? This bond is pi, this bond is pi, and this bond is also pi. So there are 3 pi bonds are there. So in this compound, what you have? You have how many? You have 7 sigma and 3 pi bonds in this case. Now if you look at the next compound, okay, the next compound is called 5-oxo, okay, 5-oxo hexanoic acid, 5-oxo hexanoic acid. Now in this compound, if you calculate how many sigma bonds are there, so I have drawn the sigma bond in yellow and pi bond is white. So you can see here that there are 18 sigma bond and how many, and 2 pi bonds are. So 18 sigma and 2 pi. You can easily see how much the sigma and pi bonds are here. Are you sure? Because in each and every case tetravalency of carbon has to be satisfied, okay, and bivalency of oxygen and monovalency of hydrogen. Are you sure about that? Okay, easily understood, understandable. Now in this type of compound, what you have consecutive double bonds are there, one carbon after the. Now this compound is what? This compound is but 1,2-diene. Okay. Now this type of compounds are called as cumene, or you can count allenes. Consecutive double bonds are there. So here in this case, what is happening? You have to calculate the number of sigma bonds here. So 2 sigma bonds with this carbon, 1 carbon is this, other is this. So 4, 5, 6 and 3 belongs to, because every carbon has 3 sigma bonds are there. So I will repeat once more, 3 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 2. So 9 alpha hydrogens, 9 alpha bonds are there and 2 pi bonds are there. Are you sure about that? Easily understood? Sure? Now here also you are able to understand how many sigma. So here what is happening? Just draw the number also. 1 sigma, second sigma, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So how many are there? So there are 7 sigma bonds. Okay, how many pi are there? 1, 2 and 3. So how many are there? The answer is 3 pi bonds are there. Are you sure? Answer is very much sure. Okay, that how would you calculate the sigma and pi bond? Okay, here in this case, what is the compound name? Compound name is but 1,2,3-triene. If this is the name of the compound, then how would you do that? Okay, this type of compounds are called as cumenes. What they are called as? Cumenes. Now in this is the two compounds are given to you. The first compound is what? It is the dithionic acid. Now how many sigma bonds are there? If you easily see that, then how would you do that? Answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 sigma bonds are there. How many are pi there? Answer is 1 and second is this 2. So 2 pi bonds are there. Okay, the answer is, that is thionic acid. Now this is what this is called as Caro acid, or popularly known as peroxosulfuric acid. Peroxosulfuric acid. So if this is the name of the compound, then how many sigma bonds are there? Answer is 1 is here, there 2. So 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 sigma bonds are there. And how many pi are there? The answer is 2 pi is there. Are you sure about that? So these things you must be memorized in your mind or practice them. They know, okay, what should be memorized? That where there is a single bond, it should be sigma only s orbital involved in sigma bonding, s never involved in pi bonding. Okay, if there are 2 bonds, then one should be sigma, one should be pi. If there are 3 bonds, one should be sigma, 2 or pi. Now next is about the what? Next is about the molecular shapes. Okay, the molecular shapes, because I already told you sigma bonds are directional bonds. Sigma bonds are directional bonds. If sigma bonds are directional bonds, they give a proper geometry to the overall compound. Okay, what the VSEPR theory? VSEPR theory stands for valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. I am repeating once more, valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Okay, just take an idea. The more you study chemistry, the more you will come to appreciate that it is about the electron. You have probably already learned that when 2 atoms forms a covalent bond, then they are in essence sharing a pair of electrons. So molecules are made up of atoms bonding together by this way, that they share an electron pair, whether it is sigma bond or pi bond. In sigma bond, the only difference is that sigma bond when the overlapping is along the axis, and pi is formed when the overlapping is what? Lateral. So here some examples are given to you that how atoms can be connected. Here what happened? 1 central atom and 3 atom close to that. Here also 1 central atom and there are 6 atoms are there. Here also 1 central atom and 2 other atoms are there. Here 1 central atom and 4 other atoms are there. Here 1 central atom and 2 atoms are there. So there must be 1 central atom or atoms get settled. Now what does the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory states? Okay, the valence V shell electron pair repulsion theory, that is called VSEPR. Okay, valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. There are certain rules for this theory. Okay, the definite shape of any covalent molecule depend on the number of paired electron present on the central atom. I am repeating once more, the geometry of the or the shape of the molecule depends upon how many number of electron pair or bond pair are present on the central atom. So first thing is that number of bond pair around what? Around central atom. That how many atoms are around the central atom. Second, covalent bonds are formed due to the sharing of electrons, and the covalent bonds arrange themselves around the central atom. Okay, Here you have to understand that except hydrogen and alkali metals, always they cannot be taken as central atom. What I am trying to say, one is what? One is hydrogen, other is alkali metals. Alkali metals and hydrogens never ever taken as central atom. Other than that, in a given compound, the atom which has the least electronegativity, it should be taken as what? It should be taken as a central metal atom, or central atom, sorry, not metal atom. Okay, so central atom must have the lower electronegativity value in between the bonded atoms. The electron pair repel each other and arrange themselves as far as possible. Why? Because electrons carry charge, so charge particle repel each other. So they want that they should be as far as apart go. Why? To minimize the repulsive interaction. So it means second point coming out is that repulsive interactions must be least. Repulsive interaction must be the least. So an electron pair may be involved in forming a bond, in which case the pair is called a bond pair, and if not involved, then in that case it is called lone pair. So now we get into account two things. One is the electron pair that is present in between what? In between the two nuclei. In that case, the electron pair is called as bond pair. But if the electron pair does not participate in bonding and present on either on the central atom or on the attached atom, in that case it should be called as a lone pair. So bond pair and lone pair now we are going to understand. Are you getting that? Let's take an idea of what? Let's take an idea of water molecule. Now what happens in case of water molecule? In case of water molecule, look at the octet of oxygen. So there are two bond pair and two lone pair. In case of ammonia, how much there? In case of ammonia, 1, 2, 3. So there are three bond pair and this is one lone pair. So one lone pair. Are you getting that? Now if you go by this rule also, then what can you say? Okay, look at that. It is what? It is a hydronium ion. The ion is called as what? Hydronium ion. Hydronium ion has the same picture as what? Ammonia. Okay, look at that. Okay, it has three bond pair and one lone pair. But देखिए, three bond pair, one lone pair, three bond pair, one lone pair. But this is ammonia and this is hydronium. Ion. But look at the number of bond pair and lone pair, they are same in number. So bond pair which present in between the two atoms and lone pair which are present only on one atom. Now we will go and discuss what? Vesper theory. The valence shell electron pair repulsion theory rules are a model of chemistry used to predict the shape of the individual molecule based upon the extent of electron pair electrostatic repulsion. Okay, so here in the previous class we have discussed that energy, that when we talk the bonding, we taken into account two things, that is energy factors. So energy factor tells us that there are two types of interaction present in the molecule. One is attractive interaction, other is repulsive interaction. Now from Vesper theory predicts that the repulsive interaction exists between the electron pair. Electron pair are two kinds, that is bond pair and lone pair. So the type of interaction that exists between these two types of electron pair is the general cause of the geometry of the molecule, that in order to maintain the repulsive interaction to the least, these electron pairs are arranged in a particular geometry. The theory is named by Gillespie and Nylam, so it is probably also known as Gillespie-Nylam theory, and it has mainly two things to take into account. Okay, sure about that. The premise means the area, okay, under which the VSEPR theory is applicable is that the valence electron pairs surrounding an atom mutually repel each other. So valence shell electron repel each other and will therefore adopt an arrangement that minimize the repulsion. So they will adopt an arrangement in which the repulsion is minimum. So in order to determine the molecular geometry, the number of atoms bonded to the central atom must be known, plus the number of electrons around that atom as a valence electron, because they are non-bonding valence electron. So VSEPR theory is usually compared and contrasted with valence band theory. Okay, in VSEPR theory, so what you are taking into account, in VBT we are taking into account that attractive interactions are dominating, that's why a bond is formed. Now that why the molecule is taken such a shape is governed by the repulsive interactions. Okay, the bond is formed due to the attractive forces present between the two atoms, but the shape that bond will take along with the other atoms will depend upon more on repulsive interaction. So a bond is formed due to dominating attractive interaction, but a geometry is formed due to the what? Due to the minimizing of the repulsive interaction. Sure about that? So bonding is the maximization of the attractive interactions, while shape and geometry of molecule is what? Minimizing of the repulsive interactions, which addresses molecular shape through orbitals that are analytically accessible for the bonding. Valence bond theory concern itself with the formation of sigma and pi bonds. Molecular orbital theory is method to understand how atoms and electrons are assembled into molecule and polyatomic ions. Are you getting that? So that must be very much known to you. Okay, look at that picture once more. Okay, so that you can easily understand what is written. So two things are came into account. This is what, that a bond is formed due to the dominating attractive interactions, while bond angle, or you can say the shape of the molecule, is dominated by what? Dominated by repulsive interaction. Okay, the bond pair and the lone pair present on the central atom must take that position in which the repulsive interaction in among themselves should be the least. Now according to what? According to the VSEPR theory, the VSEPR theory can predict the angle between the electron domains, means bonds, whether bonding or non-bonding atoms are present there or not. If there are two domains, it means two bonds are there, then 180 is the bond angle. If three domains, means three bonds are there, then 120 is the domain. So if the number of bonds are 4, then the ideal bond angle is 109.5. if the number of bonds are 5. Domains here means bond pairs. I am repeating once more, sir. Here domains means bond pair. Okay, then there are two types of bond. There will be 3 bonds 120 and 2 bond angles are 90 degree. Then if there are 6 bonds, bond pair are there, then the angle will be, then structure will be octahedral. I am repeating once more to you. Domains here means number of electron pair in between what? In between the 2 atoms. So if 2 bonds are there, if 3 bonds are there, if 4 are there, 5 and 6 bonds. So if 2 bonds are there, shape will be linear and bond angle will be 180. If there are 3 bond pair, then it will be trigonal planar and bond angle will be 120. If there are 4 bond pair, then the geometry will be tetrahedral and bond angle will be 109.5 degree. If there are 5 bond pairs, then the geometry is trigonal bipyramidal and there are bond angle of 2 types 90 degree and 120 degree. If there are 6 bond pairs, then there will be octahedral shape and all the bond angles are 90 degree. Now hybridization will be told to you in the next class, but here I will only deal with the certain definition only, that what do you mean by hybridization. Okay, this is the next topic, but after Vesper, not now. Here I am telling you hybridization only to just get a in-depth idea of Vesper theory. I am repeating once more. I am telling you the definition of hybridization to understand a deep meaning present in the Vesper theory, because Vesper theory deal with the distortion in the geometry of the molecules. Now the various molecules have definite geometry due to the process that is called as hybridization. So first we need to, just a definition type thing is there, so just need to, what is hybridization? The phenomenon of intermixing of atomic orbital of nearly same energy level, which results in formation of an equivalent number of new orbitals of identical shape and of identical energy, is known as hybridization, and the new orbital is called a hybrid orbital. Okay, sure about that? It means that if 2 atomic orbitals mix together, then the hybrid orbital also has 2 orbitals. If the 3 atomic orbitals are intermixed, the hybrid orbitals also has what? 3 orbitals. Okay, are you sure? Its lobe may be one smaller, one longer. The longer lobe contains the electron pair, the smaller lobe does not contain the electron pair. Now let us suppose we have, you can say, hybridization. If the shape is linear, it is due to sp hybridization and bond angle is 180. Okay, now look at that, look at once more, I am reading once more. AX2, it is linear molecule, and it has what? It has bond angle 180 and hybridization is sp. Are you getting that? Now what do you mean by that? Remember that you have BeCl2. Beryllium is the central atom and chlorine is able to form 2 bonds. That bond angle is 180. That is linear shape. That is sp hybridization. That is what? Sp hybridization. It is what? sp hybridization. Okay, sure about that? Next is about AX3. It is trigonal planar geometry. It is sp2 and bond angle is 120. Bond angle is 120. I am repeating once more. AX3 trigonal planar. It means all the bonds in the same plane. All the bond angles are 120 and the hybridization is sp2. Now look at the example. Example is what? Example is BF3. Boron is central atom. 3 bonds are there. All bonds are in same plane. So it is called trigonal planar. It is called trigonal planar. And all the bond angles are what? All the bond angles are at 120. This bond angle is 120. This bond angle is 120. And this bond angle is also 120. So this is 120. That is also 120. That is also 120. So all bond angles are 120. That is trigonal planar. That is called trigonal planar. I am repeating once more. That is not the in-depth knowledge of hybridization. Later on we will take on hybridization in the coming week, not this week. But still I am giving you just a fair idea so that you are able to understand VSEPR theory. Now here what can we see here? That if the molecule is type AX4, then it is sp3 hybridized, bond angle is 105 and geometry is what? Geometry is tetrahedral. Prominent example is methane. Now I told you prominent example is methane. Okay, now what happens in methane? That there are 4 bonds are there. Okay, and each bond angle is what? Each bond angle is 109. Each bond angle is what? 109. In actual practice there are 4 bonds. First bond, okay, that is second bond, okay, third bond, and that is fourth bond. Okay, what is that geometry? Geometry is tetrahedral. What is that geometry called as? Tetrahedral geometry. Are you getting that or not? Sure about that? So this is tetrahedral geometry. In tetrahedral geometry, what is happening? All bond angles are what? All bond angles are 10 degree 28 minutes or 109.5 degrees. Same thing, because 30 minutes is okay. 30 minutes is 50 degree, 0.5 degrees. Sorry. So it is 109 or 109.28. Are you getting that? Sure about that? One more example of this is CCl4. In case of CCl4 also, you have all the bond angles are what? All the bond angles at 120 degree, 109 degree 28 minutes, or it is 109.5 degree. Are you getting that? Sure. Then you have what? Then you have AX5 type of molecule. Okay, the geometry is what? The geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. 2 type of angles are there, 90 degree and 120, and hybridization is sp3d. What is that hybridization? sp3d. Are you getting that? Now look at the example of PCl5. In case of PCl5, you have these 3 phosphorus chlorine bond in the same plane. Okay, but there are what? There are two more bonds are there. One is above the plane, the second is below the plane. Are you getting that? One is what? Below the plane, other is above the plane. Are you getting that in your mind? So that is very, very important. So the geometry is called what? The geometry is called what? The geometry is called trigonal bipyramidal. It is called trigonal. Look at that below. If you see that, okay, the base is a triangular base. Okay, are you sure about that? So trigonal. How it is preparing bipyramidal? Now the base is what? In case of PCl5, what is happening? The base is a triangular base. So how it is forming? If you just join that, okay, then what can happen? It will give you a type of what? A type of what? A type of pyramidal. One is above, another is what? Below. Are you getting that or not? So that is trigonal bipyramidal. It is trigonal bipyramidal. One pyramid is what? One pyramid is above. Okay, you can easily see that. That is triangular base. So one pyramid is above. Are you sure about that or not? Clear? And second pyramid is what? Second pyramid is below. So there are what? There are how many? There are bipyramidal geometry. Now, first of all, we have to look at the case that how bond angles are being generated in case of PCl5. Now, in case of PCl5, these three bonds are in the same plane, and there are two bonds. One of them is above the plane, second is below the plane. Okay, so here you can easily see here what? That in this case there are two type of bond angles are being generated here. Okay, are you sure about that? In the first case you have chlorine, phosphorus, chlorine bond. These are three bond angles are there. All three of them are 120. You can see that there are two types of chlorine there. One is yellow chlorine, they are same plane, and two white chlorine. One is above and second is below the plane. Okay, are you sure about that? So this bond angle, all three bond angles, 1, 2 and 3, all three of them are what? All three of them are what? Are 120. Now second bond angle is what? Second bond angle is chlorine, yellow, phosphorus, and then you have white chlorine. Then that bond angle is 90 degree. So there are three angle at 90 degree, three above and three below. This chlorine has been perpendicular to all three PCl bonds. I am repeating once more. There are three yellow bonds are there. To all three of them, this PCl bond is perpendicular. Similarly, this below Cl is there. In case of below Cl, that also that PCl bond is perpendicular to all the three PCl yellow bonds. So there are six bonds, there are six angles at 90 degree, six angles at 90 degree, and three angles 120 degree. In case of what? In case of PCl5. Remember that here what I am discussing the ideal cases. What are those ideal cases? That all of them are bond pair only. All of them are bond pair only, while Vesper theory deals with that how these bond pair and lone pair will take that distortion. Now take the example of octahedral, that is sp3d2 hybridization. Now in case of what? In case of sp3d2 hybridization, what we are looking at, the formula is what? The formula of the compound is AX5. It is octahedral, bond angle is 90 degree and hybridization is sp3d2. Now in case of SF6, what can happen? That sulfur is the central atom here and 4 fluorine bonds, they are in the same plane. And what is happening here? One bond is above the plane. One bond is what? One bond is above the plane. And second bond is below the plane. Are you getting that or not? Sure about that? And all bond angles are what? All bond angles in this case are 90 degree. So look at that picture. So that is octahedral. That is what? Octahedral. You can see that octahedral, how it is forming octahedral. Now, since we are now got the elementary idea that how does the hybridization predicts the shape of the molecule in case of what? In case when all the bond pairs are present only. There is no lone pair presence on the central metal atom or central element, sorry. So in this case, we look again once more that in case of what? In case of Vesper theory, if only two bond pairs are present, I am repeating once more that we have to understand one thing, that here if only two domains means here bond pairs, if only it is only pure bond pairs I am talking about, lone pair is present. Now in this case what is happening, if two domains, two bond pair are there, it is linear and sp. If three bond pairs are, it is sp2 and trigonal planar. If four bond pairs are there, it is sp3 and tetrahedral. If five bond pairs are there, it is sp3d, trigonal, bipyramidal, and two bond angles are there. If six bond pairs, then octahedral, that is sp3d2. So that is an elementary idea, that and the advanced idea of the hybridization we will discuss in the next week. But here you have to take into consideration that how these perfect bond pair give you the perfect geometry. Now, what are the postulates of the Vesper theory? Okay. In polyatomic molecules, the molecules made up of three or more atoms, one of the constituent atom is identified as central atom, to which all other atom belongs to the molecules are linked. So identify the central atom, which should be the least electronegative, and it should not be hydrogen or alkali metal. Okay. The total number of valence electron shall decide the shape of the molecule. Okay. Next, the electron pairs have a tendency to orient themselves in a way so that minimize the electronic repulsion. Are you sure? What should be the repulsion means? Repulsion means here, this is very, very important. Lone pair repulsion. LP means lone pair. Lone pair repulsion is more than lone pair bond pair repulsion, greater than bond pair repulsion. So there are three types of repulsion: lone pair repulsion, LP. LP means lone pair, BP means bond pair. Lone pair repulsion between two lone pair is maximum, and repulsion between two bond pair is minimum. Okay, while lone pair bond pair repulsion is in between that. Okay, so the electron pair have a tendency to orient themselves in such a way so that electron repulsion between them is minimum and the distance between them should be maximum. The valence shell can be thought of as a sphere where electron pairs are localized on the surface in such a way that distance between them is maximum. Sure. So it means attractive repulsion should be maximum and repulsive interaction should be minimum. Should the central atom of the molecule be surrounded by a bond pair of electrons, then the asymmetric shape can be expected. I have just given you example of in which case. Look at that one. If this is the perfect geometry, linear 3 bond pair, no lone pair is present in that case. 3, 4, 5, 6. I given you just an idea. Just repeat that idea in your mind once more. Should the central atom be surrounded by both lone pair and bond pair, okay, then molecule have distorted shape. So in the previous example I given you that only bond pair are present, then they have a perfect geometry. Presence of lone pair in the molecule will distort the geometry. I am repeating once more. If it is sp hybridized, it is linear shape. If it is sp2 hybridized, it should be triangular planar. If it is sp3, it is tetrahedral. If it is sp3d, it should be trigonal bipyramidal. If it is sp3d2, then it should be octahedral. All these examples are applicable when only bond pairs are present. Presence of lone pair one or more than that, it will cause a distortion in the geometry of the molecule. Once more, so lone pair repulsion is maximum and lone pair bond pair repulsion is after that, and bond pair repulsion is the least one. So I am repeating once more that if it is sp, it is linear geometry, perfect shape. What is that? Perfect shape. If it is sp2, it is trigonal planar, perfect shape. If it is sp3, it is tetrahedral, perfect shape. So all these bond angle must be known to you. If it is sp3, that is trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, sure. And if it is sp3d2, then it should be perfect octahedral. So all these points must be known to you. Are you getting that or not? And you must understand that all these applicable only when you have bond pair presence only. What is that? Bond pair. There is no presence of what? There is no presence of any lone pair. Presence of lone pair will distort these geometries. Despite being sp2, it will not, if lone pair present, despite being sp2, it will be not a perfect trigonal planar. If lone pair present in sp3, it will not be a tetrahedral. If lone pair present in sp3d, it will not be a trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, sure about that? So here you can see that what can be the answer? Lone pair repulsion is maximum. Lone pair repulsion maximum. Then there will be lone pair pi bond repulsion. Then lone pair sigma bond repulsion. Then pi bond repulsion. Then pi bond sigma bond repulsion. And then sigma and sigma bond repulsion. So this is least, this is maximum. Presence of any lone pair, okay, will cause distortion in the geometry of the molecule. Now predicting the shape of the molecule. Okay. Now the following step must be followed in order to decide the shape of the molecule. The least electronegative atom must be deselected as the central atom, since this atom has the highest ability to share its electrons with the other atoms belonging to the molecule. I am repeating once more. The least electronegative atom must be taken as the central atom. I told you already, only you have taken that hydrogen and alkali metal should not be taken. Other than that, this criteria should be strictly followed. The total number of electrons belonging to the outermost shell of the central atom must be counted. the total number of electrons belonging to the outermost shell of the central atom must be taken into account very seriously. Next, the total number of electrons belonging to the other atoms that are used in the bond with the central atom must be counted. These two values must be added in order to obtain the valence shell electron pair number or the VSEPN number. Are you getting that? What is the number called? VSEPN number. That may also called as hybridization quotient also. The valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, abbreviated by as VSEPR, is based on the premise that there is a repulsion between a pair of valence electron in all atoms. There is a repulsion between the pair of valence electron in all atoms, and the atoms will always tend to arrange themselves in a manner in which the electron pair repulsion is minimized. The arrangement of the atoms determines the geometry of the resulting molecule. Okay, the different geometry that molecule can assume keeping the VSEPR theory can be illustrated below. Okay, are you sure about that? So what can happen if number of lone pair is what? Now here you can see number of lone pair is 0. Only bond pair is present. Then it is a linear. Okay. Here also what can happen? If number of lone pair is 0 in second case, trigonal pyramidal, then it is trigonal planar. But if one lone pair is present, then it is called as bent shape. Presence of one lone pair in sp2 will cause what? Perfect geometry is trigonal planar. Perfect geometry is trigonal planar. But presence of one lone pair will make it bent. Remember that. I can give you one example of such that in case of BF3, what can you see? We can see there is no what? There is no lone pair present on central atom. So it is perfect what? Perfect sp2. What is? Trigonal planar. But if a lone pair is present, let us suppose lone pair present on what? Lone pair present on NO2. Then it is what? Then it is bent shape. You can see that it is not. This is bent shape. It is what? Bent shape. NO2 negative. Why? Because presence of this lone pair. Lone pair present on nitrogen. So it is bent shape. SnCl2. There are two bond pair, but presence of one lone pair. So that is what? That angle x. The value of x is less than 120. It should be 120, but it is not in this case 120. So it is bent shaped. Okay. So you can clearly see that presence of one lone pair will give you what? Will give you bent shaped geometry. Are you getting that in your mind now? Okay. I am repeating once more. In this case, sp2 case, in this sp2 case, what we are getting? We are getting the perfect geometry if all are bond pair, trigonal planar. But we got a bent geometry if we get what? If we got a lone pair present in the system. Similarly, in case of what? Similarly, in case of, I am repeating once more. Look at that. Perfect linear if lone pair is 0. But if lone pair is 1, here one lone pair is present, then it is a bent shape. In which case? In trigonal planar shape. So trigonal planar become what? Trigonal planar becomes bent. Trigonal planar becomes bent. I given you just an example of us. Just go by next. The example is bent shape. Okay, I given you two examples. One is of what? One is of 2U is nitrite ion. The other is SnCl2 ion. The third one can be SO2 also. In SO2 also, one won't be present. So the angle Y is what? Angle Y is less than 120. That is also bent shape. That is also what? Bent shape molecule. So presence of a lone pair, presence of in all three of them, there is one lone pair present. One lone pair present in all three of them in sp2, or you can say in trigonal planar. But what they are, they all have bent shape. They all have what? Bent shape. And NO2, nitrite ion, SnCl2, SO2, all have, due to the presence of one lone pair, have bent shape. Similarly, what can happen in case of what? sp3, that is tetrahedral. Now perfect in case of what? In case of this case, if you have sp3, that is perfect tetrahedral. If all our bond pair is tetrahedral. If one lone pair is present, it becomes trigonal pyramidal. Trigonal pyramidal. If two lone pairs are present, it becomes bent shape. In case of what? In case of sp3. Look at the example. In this case, I given you already one example, that if you have methane, then it is fine. But in case of ammonia, you have trigonal pyramidal geometry. Why? Because there are three bond pair and one lone pair present. The presence of one lone pair distort the tetrahedral geometry. Okay. In case of what? In case of water, that is H2O, there are two bond pair and two lone pair. So it becomes bent shape. I just give you the space. So here two lone pair present in water, one lone present in ammonia. Both ammonia and water have distorted tetrahedral. In case of ammonia, it is pyramidal shape. The bond angle changes from 109 to 107, and in case of water it becomes 105. So the bond angle decreases because of the repulsion offered by the lone pair. Okay, let's see through an example. Now look at the case of ammonia. In case of ammonia, the presence of one lone pair. So lone pair will repel the bond pair. And the bond pair will come close together. Okay, I am repeating once more. Repulsion given by lone pair will make the bond pair to come close together. And bond angle becomes less. So it becomes what? It becomes pyramidal shape. Pyramidal shape. So ammonia is not tetrahedral. It is what? Pyramidal in shape. So you can say that ammonia pyramidal is what? Pyramidal is distorted tetrahedral. Why it undergo distortion? Due to the presence of one lone pair. Are you getting that? Similarly, in case of what? Similarly, look at the case of water here. In case of water, also there are two bond pair and two lone pair. Water should also be tetrahedral, but what can happen? In case of water, two of the positions are occupied by a lone pair. So there is lone pair repulsion. There is lone pair bond pair repulsion. There is also lone pair bond pair repulsion. So in ammonia, if we observe clearly, in ammonia there is only lone pair bond pair repulsion. But in water, what can happen? There is lone pair repulsion. There is lone pair bond pair repulsion. Both are present. So magnitude of repulsion is more in water. I am repeating once more. What is happening? In case of ammonia, there is only lone pair and bond pair repulsion. But here, although bond pair repulsion always exists, but those are at the minimum. Why? Because in bond pair, the electron pair is in between the two nuclei. But lone pair is under the influence of only one nuclei. Sure, that's why lone pair repulsions are always more than that of the bond pair repulsions. Okay, so these are the few examples. In the next class, we will discuss more example on distortion of the molecule. So in this case, what can happen? What can you say? So in case of this also, the bond angle is what? The bond angle is A. The bond angle A is less than 109 degree 28 minutes. Here in this case also, the bond angle is what? The bond angle is X. The value of X is less than 10 degree. Why? Because of the lone pair. So lone pair will cause distortion. Okay, sure about that? So please go through these examples very, very carefully. Okay, these examples of VSEPR theory are very, very important. They will directly come to you in the examination.